My name is Eric Campion, and I'm the principal investigator on a new East Multicenter trial. Pre-hospital end-tidal carbon dioxide as a predictor of mortality in massive transfusion and trauma. Continuous end-tidal CO2 measurement has become ubiquitous across EMS agencies around the country. End-tidal CO2 measurement has been used to monitor both the quality of ventilation as well as, in many studies, the quality of CPR. We know that in critically injured patients, end-tidal CO2 decreases with decreased systemic perfusion. Patients in hemorrhagic shock can have a pronounced decrease in their end-tidal CO2 values. This has been utilized in studies in the operating room to demonstrate that lower levels of end-tidal CO2 are predictive of mortality in severely injured trauma patients. However, this phenomenon has not been thoroughly evaluated in the pre-hospital settings, with only a few studies investigating this, and all of these limited by small sample size, making adequate risk stratification quite difficult. To evaluate this, we're beginning a multi-center retrospective observational study. We're going to include all injured adult patients that are intubated prior to arrival in the emergency department from January 2017 through the end of December 2018. And we hypothesize that these pre-hospital end-tidal CO2 levels will be predictive of both massive transfusion and death. We will be collecting the typical demographic data, both injury and pre-hospital data, as well as serial pre-hospital end-tidal CO2 measurements and serial pre-hospital vitals. We anticipate chart review for this project will be relatively brief, with the records being reviewed of the pre-hospital run sheets, the emergency department records, and the initial operative records for the first 24 hours. All other data that will need to be collected should be readily available from the trauma registry at your facility. We'll be using the REDCap database to coordinate data collection between sites. Please consider joining our study and email me with any interest in joining the study or any questions, as well as our research assistant, Alexis Crowley, for any regulatory issues or questions as well. Thank you very much for considering our study.